Soulful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hit me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs and harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yo. What's going on, people? What is going on, man? Big up to everybody inside the building. Big up to those who are obviously watching this on the replay. Just been a little bit of a busy morning. Otherwise, I would have done my, regular scheduled viewing at 10:30. But unfortunately, just been a little bit busy. So, gonna do my match reaction now. Obviously, Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. This was a tricky game. It was a tricky game before a ball was even kicked. I think everybody, well, I say everybody, like some people did think that, Liverpool would just go out there, slap Nottingham Forest and, it would just be kind of done and dusted. But yeah, it wasn't really meant to be, man. It was not meant to be. I think looking at the game as a whole, before we kind of take a look at stats and, all of that kind of stuff, I think Liverpool done enough, in my opinion, to probably win the game. But you could see with the way that it was kind of going that, just luck just wasn't really on our side. I'll be honest with you, of course, until Slot made those substitutions and then, bringing on, Diogo, Jota and Tsimikas. Until that kind of happened, I don't know, man. It just felt like, it's going to be one of them days where you can have all the shots, you can have all the, possession, you can have the ball in their half, and they seemed very content. Apart from a little period that they had, I think, maybe just after like they had scored, they had like a tiny little period where it's like, okay, yeah, they're trying, to score a goal here, score a goal there. Other than that, throughout the rest of the game, it was kind of all Liverpool, and it was all about how can you break down 11 men essentially, and on top of that, having a goalkeeper who then has a blinder, making top quality saves and things like that. So it was always going to be difficult. And I knew that at a certain point in the game, Forest would revert to that. If I'm being totally honest with you, I was just more intrigued at how are Liverpool going to be able to, navigate their way through this whole kind of system in terms of trying to break them down, and we've spoken about this before, being able to move the ball quicker, a lot more movement off the ball and stuff like that. It's got to be, the passing's got to be a bit more zipped in. And to be fair, at times we was trying to do that, but on a whole, it was difficult to break these guys down, man. I'll be totally honest with you. And yeah, the score obviously ended up with being 1-1. I thought it'd be a draw before the game anyway. With how it panned out, Liverpool probably, again, I felt probably deserved to get that victory in the end because we created enough chances to do so. But listen, man, it is what it is. In terms of the lineup, I'm trying to think, was there anything that I was a bit like miffed about, but not really? I'm sure I chose, no, I had Gakpo instead of Diogo Jota. With obviously Jota starting up front and then Luis Diaz on the left. But everything else, I think, is exactly what I would have picked for this game. So again, no issues, no worries with the squad. I think we were more concerned with who Nottingham Forest were going to start. And obviously they started Hudson-Odoi and Alanga, two players that they didn't start with against us at Anfield. And I think that was the one where I was looking at, trying to see if he was going to go down that route, more than anything. But other than that, I think the rest of the team, I think that is the team. Yeah, give or take in terms of maybe Dominguez, I would have thought started, but no, it was Anderson and Yates. Yates, you know what? He didn't do as badly in terms of how rough and tumble he was when we faced these lot at Anfield. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like he was a little bit like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to go too hard on these guys. But again, a good display from Forest in terms of defensively. They were, resolute in what they had to do. You can tell as a unit, these guys are really kind of, clicked on with each other. The goal that they obviously scored, I felt that, first of all, it was a great goal, from Chris Wood in terms of him peeling off to the left. For some reason, there just being this crazy open space, for him to be able to run inside, or run against. I think it was Van Dijk. I think it might have been Van Dijk. I can't remember, but whoever it was, for him to be in, kind of that much space to, then be able to pick up that left-footed shot. I know some people, they're getting onto Ali about it. If it's Ali's fault and people feel like he should have saved it, then he should have saved it. Either way, I felt like it was a good finish anyway, right into the corner of the net. And it just felt like that's what they were waiting for in the game. And once they had gotten that, it's like they had been training all week in order for them to be 1-0 ahead. But once they are 1-0 ahead, we're just going to, continue doing what we've been training for the entire week. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I felt like Liverpool always going to struggle to break them down. And so funny, it happened to end up being, a corner that kind of got us, our goal. Big up Honesty inside. He's saying before we go on free Harvey Elliott, it was in the Gulag Shadow Realm settings. Yeah, I know. There might be a reason for it. I don't know. Like I really, really don't know what it could be, but heck, he might have a reason as to why he's not really playing like that. I want to Jota to start. Yeah, same. I want to Jota to start. Big up Doug out in the building, guys. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, please. Would you start Jota versus Brentford? Well, I would have started him yesterday, to be honest with you. He said he was fit for 90 minutes, so I can't see why not. And I think he probably will start him against Brentford. That Murillo brother moving mad, Cells moving like Buffon. Yeah, Murillo's good though. He's pretty decent still at centre back. Him and Milenkovic, they form a good partner. You can see why. Even in that game, yes, we were relentless and stuff like that, but you could even see in that game, this is why they don't concede that many goals. We were only able to score one. Do you know what I mean? Like it is a bit mad. Is Alisson's form a concern? No, not really. Not really. I'll be honest with you. It would take a bit more in order for me to really be concerned with someone like Alisson. I don't think he's done enough wrong yet where I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on with Ali? Now, obviously, if a player, and I'm not saying he is, but if a player is starting to decline, I guess you don't really notice it until later on, like how we saw it with like Robbo as an example. We've seen that he's kind of declining, but you don't really notice it until later on. And it's usually because the understudy, in this case, obviously Keller, is usually starting to look a lot closer to that individual's ability than they were before. Whereas before you knew there was like a clear daylight between the two players. I'm not saying that there isn't now, but for some people, it's like, nah, Keller is a lot closer to his ability than we think. And, we don't miss Alisson and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, right now, not really a concern. But of course, listen, if I feel like in the next probably like 5 to 10 games, if I feel that, Alisson's either making mistakes or doesn't look the reassuring Alisson that we kind of know, then yeah, of course, it will definitely be of concern. But listen, we still got Keller, in the team, in the squad, and we've signed Mamardashvili. So maybe this was all preempted. Maybe this was all preempted. For the Salah Duck in 50-50, Ibu was higher up than Grav. How? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, that whole goal was just weird. It was just so weird. Like, just 1 minute it was like, I'm sure, was we not in possession? Or maybe they were in possession. I can't even remember. I just remember there being this mad gap, appearing. And I just remember sitting there thinking to myself, like, right, like, how's he got that much time and space? And the thing is, he zipped into that space. Like, this wasn't even, like, the way he peeled off on that run, I was like, bro, who's this? Like, I was so shocked that it was Chris Wood on the end of it, and then a calm finish. Like, that was just like a sweet goal, for him anyway. Like, I was kind of mad. Big up ENNY, man. Chat to me about Robbo getting pushed over by the West. Bro, listen, it was mad. It was mad. Like, I was actually baffed. Like I kept saying, when it happened, I kept saying to myself, bro, this is not what you want. When you're trying to show people that, yo, like, this isn't the, like, don't give up on me yet kind of vibes. Yeah, that's not what you want to happen, bro. I promise you. You don't want them kind of situations to pop off where you're falling over by the wind and that. And now it just looks a bit mad. I feel sorry for him, man. Harris, I've just sent that to you still. One pass, cut us open, 100%. Big up the gaffer inside. Hold on. Let me put him on the screen, of course. There we go. Bombastic. Big up, Jerry, man. We can.
What's going on, man? What's going on? I'm here to be a voice of reason. Man are overreacting and that. I'm here to be a voice of reason. Yeah, big up to everyone in the building.
Hey, chat to me, man. Chat to me. Obviously, we're just getting into like obviously the game, of course, in itself. In terms of how the game panned out for you, anyway, how did you kind of see it? Are you disappointed? Are you like, did we deserve to win? Like, how did you kind of see the overall game?
Look, I always say, right, you never deserve to win if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, innit? Like, ultimately. Yeah. But I think overall, that was a very good performance from a Liverpool team that struggles usually to break down low blocks. Mm-hmm. And considering the amount of chances that we created and the spaces that we got into, I think it was one of the better performances. And let me kind of analyze it from my perspective, right? So, obviously, we're looking at Liverpool. First, 5 minutes, we've got 3 shots. Now, the 3 shots that came, well, it was 4, because Gravenberch had 1 in the box, but we'll lead on to that. The 3 shots from outside of the box, I was a bit surprised because that's not something that we usually see from Liverpool, innit? Especially when multiple players are shooting from outside the box. So Gakpo hit 1, I think, was it McAllister hit 1, Diaz hit 1. I think there's multiple people that, and you're looking and Gravenberch hit 1 as well because he actually had 2 shots. And I was looking at it thinking to myself, like why have we decided to go and do that? Like, what's going on here? Now, lo and behold, what that does, and I kind of just deep dive what was going on, I was like, the tactic. Now, you've played ball, yeah? Mm-hmm. If a team starts shooting from distance early on, yeah, what would and you're a centre-back, what would you tell your centre-backs to do? So let's say they've got no one to mark, yeah, but man are getting the ball, turning at you, and they're shooting. Mm-hmm. You ain't really going to allow them to shoot. I know you want them to shoot from distance, but at one point, you as a midfielder, or you as a striker, will turn back around to your backline and be like, hey, bruv, you got to press up on them, you know? You got to step up on them. You can't allow them to shoot. We're getting them to space. Mm-hmm. What happens then, it draws the centre-backs out to then create space to go and obviously catch them. Mm-hmm. Problem is that tactic worked, but A, our shooting weren't good, and secondly, right, so they weren't on target like that, even though it kind of engaged them a bit. And secondly, what's it called? We conceded with 1 shot on goal. And I think that kind of skews the narrative of what you're trying to do, because you see, like, the way people are talking about the second half, if Liverpool don't score that equaliser, right, do we look at that second half and think it was a fantastic second half? I think, if anything, the first half was a bit better because we controlled the game a bit more. I think it started to go end to end in the second half a bit more when the space opened up, because we were catching them on the counter, but then they were trying to catch us on the counter, and it made us look, for me, a bit more susceptible. Whereas we controlled the game a lot. And I was looking at the first kind of 5 minutes, I was like, like 10 minutes, I was like, wow, Liverpool are doing their thing right now. Like, they're really controlling the game, they're dominating possession. But ultimately, if a team scores, it kind of ruins the whole gameplay. And I think without going into like analysing and hyper-analysing players, overall, I think everyone really played well. It was one chance where, you know, like, the ball's gone out wide and it's a good finish, but it's a good finish because it goes in. You know, like, if Alisson just saves it, like, we're not looking at it thinking, oh, what a strike that was. We're just like, oh, yeah, he had a shot, innit? That was worrying. It could have been a goal. And I think it's, obviously, Gravenberch, Konate, they step out, it leaves the gap. Trent's high up the pitch because we've just been attacking and you got caught on the counter. And Virgil van Dijk don't really get across too much because his body position is a bit wrong, because he's turned his body away from Chris Wood to engage the man on the ball, ultimately to then have to do like a 360 spin to look at Chris Wood. By that time, Chris Wood's got the ball again. Great movement, but we know, I spoke to you about you and ENDZ about Chris Wood anyway, asking you, man, would you take him at Liverpool? And he just obviously hit the target, which every good striker should do. That's the bare minimum. And Alisson don't save it. And I think Alisson should save that. Like, you know, that shot, like, that's the only way he's putting it. That's the only place he's going to put it. On that left foot, he ain't laced it. It's side foot, innit? That's the only place you're going to put it. That's the only place. It's far side. Because and he dives over it, and it's like, cool. And then after that, they haven't done anything the whole game.
Yeah.
So I look at it and I'm like, should we have lost? No. Should we have won? not necessarily because you scored a goal, but in terms of overall performance, and obviously these are pros, but if I was looking at like my team and my kids playing and they played like that, I'd be way more positive as opposed to being negative, if that makes sense. Considering the way people hyped up Nottingham Forest about this is going to be a challenge, this is this, and obviously they defended. I think one of the things, obviously, just to finish off, I think one of the areas that annoyed me a bit is the cutting in from when we cut in and then try dink balls into the back post. We don't score a lot of goals like that.
Yeah,
we don't score a lot of goals like that, and I feel like what made it really difficult is Robbo don't overlap like that anymore. Trent don't overlap like that anymore. You got Diaz dropping deep to get the ball because he's only going to do that as a false nine, right? But Gakpo's cutting inside, so he's coming into his space. Salah comes into that space. So, and the only runner you've got really in behind was like Soboslai that will make runs in behind. So it kind of, it makes it really congested in the middle and we don't really have any overlapping runs. And again, I think that's something that we just need to utilise more or keep wide players wide, but it means Gakpo's not going to be as effective and Salah's not going to be as effective because you want them closer to goal. So it's just something to maybe think about from my perspective. But I don't know what you thought about the game, but I thought it was like good. Like again, this is what I'm saying. It was good, but you want the result as a fan, innit? You want the result, and ultimately, because you don't get the result, it leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. Do you get it?
Yeah, no. That's listen, man. That in itself, just I'll give you like a brief kind of overview of what I was saying, obviously before you jumped on. But big up Harris, obviously for jumping in as well, man. I want to hear your take before I obviously continue, man. Chat to us about the game, bro.
Yeah, I think we started off well, had a couple shots, and then all of a sudden, I looked at my phone and then I looked up and I just seen Chris Wood sap it bottom bins, and I was thinking, where's this come from? Because like we're literally all over them. Yeah, they weren't getting out. Yeah, we started off well, and then I was thinking if they score first, Nottingham's gonna like the fans they're just gonna go blitz. Yeah, and then Wood scored, and then we started to be a bit what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say I can just say we were poor after the goal, I think.
Okay. Yep.
And people like McAllister like giving the ball away in silly areas, giving away fouls. And what I liked from Diaz as the false nine, this is one thing I think he did very well, is him finding space in between the two sixes, in behind the pivot, which you see when you receive from the half turn and you drive forward, you have the options of Gakpo, depending on how close you are. So if he's received the ball closer to the what do you call it, the right DM, he has the option of Gakpo. Yeah, I think he did that very well in finding the space. But just the execution, because there was a time where he could have played to Gakpo, but the pass was bad and he timed it wrong. So I think the second half was better, but I think we still should have had enough to get over the line, because if you really take away that goal that they scored, what did they really do apart from having a free kick that was saved?
Yeah. I can't remember too much from Forest, to be honest, after we scored.
I think one point just to add onto that, G, as you were talking about, is just to add to my point before, just to echo as Harris is saying, that was my biggest worry after they scored the goal, is we reverted to type. And you see, like, when City, and I always use City as an example because City or Barca back in the day, right? You can see they're not trying to go and score the next goal in like 2 seconds. They're not trying to go and get back at you straight away. They'll play the long game. They're like, all right, cool, you got the goal, that's fine. We're going to keep it and keep it and keep it. We're going to tire you out. And then all of a sudden, just before the end of the half, they nick the goal.
Yeah.
Now you're knackered. Liverpool don't do that. And what happens is man starts to go and force it. So Gravenberch starts to force it. McAllister starts to force it. Salah starts to force it, like trying to do like some Trivela cross into no one in the box when there's no one in the box because Diaz has dropped off. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, can we be better? Can we be a bit better in possession? And you start to realise why, Slot spoke about sometimes how you don't want the like it's interesting. Liverpool always seem, for the fans' perspective, seem better when the game's end to end, when it's high octane, when do you know what I mean, when Salah's running forward and every man's running forward and Trent just hitting the pass, because we're not used to that patient build up and we're not comfortable with that. And what it is if we're not comfortable with that as fans that have, you know, seen how Liverpool play for a certain amount of time, then you know that the players that have been like that for 7-8 years, gung ho, play forward first, that really kind of that like direct football. We struggle when it's got to just keep it for a second. We struggle when we see like a Curtis Jones on the ball. We struggle when we go and when it's taking too long on the ball. We struggle when even McAllister takes an extra touch or Robbo doesn't just force it forward, because we're used to Robbo going forwards. So now when Robbo don't offer that, when these guys don't offer that, we look at it as a negative. The difference is this is an instruction from Slot. And what it seems to happen is that when their game plan goes to crap in the second half, it's like we go back to playing very similar to how we did under Jurgen Klopp, which is we're very direct, we're very high end, we're praising Szoboszlai for, if we were just faster, if we were just running around, if we were doing this, then we'd be better. And it's like, we might do, but Slot's job isn't just to win games and now. He's looking at it from the long-term perspective of, how can we go and how can I implement my style for us to be better over the long period? Remember the long gun, because he's trying to implement his style and he's trying to be there for the long haul. He's not here just for this game right now. And it seems like he's trying to play his style, and all of a sudden he adapts it, and we start to play a game that, again, if you look at that Forest game, the game just opened up, and everyone's talking like neutrals were saying, it's like a basketball game, and what a game of football. That's something that I remember Jurgen Klopp speaking about a lot. And I look at it and I'm like, as like, does Slot look at that and does that irk him a bit? Hence why after these games we're all happy, and he goes, I'm not really happy with that, I'm not happy with how we did that. Because we're struggling to see the benefit of just keeping it slow and then exercising the pace. Whereas you even hear Gary Neville talking about, Pep Guardiola football's boring and this and that. And look, it might be boring, it's subjective, but ultimately that's the way the manager wants to play. And if he's trying to play like that, it means that the game's not going to be as fast. It's not going to be as end-to-end. The passing is going to be slower. We're not going to be as direct. And for some people, it makes it look as though we're not good. And I think the reason why we're not good isn't because of that. It's because the passing is not precise. And when we start giving the ball away like that, you're more likely to get hit on the counter. And when you're high up in positions and, Trent's coming to midfield to get it, but all of a sudden he gives it to McAllister, McAllister loses it, and then all of a sudden they hit that space, it's like, now what are you supposed to do? And it's the same situation we had under Jurgen Klopp. When teams sat back and kind of gave us the ball, we were always good in transition. And this season, we've been like that as well. I haven't seen a consistent run of a full game. We've just dominated and kept the ball, and it's just been calm. Maybe Accrington Stanley in it, maybe that game, but again, it's Accrington Stanley in it. Yeah. So but anyway,
no, that's it. I agree with everything that you're saying in regard to the game, and Harris as well. Actually, to be fair. And I've said it to you, but I've said it to everyone before about we've just not had that one game where to me, it was only really like Manchester United, and I can't even say it was a full game anyway, because there were obviously their moments that they scored, or they could have scored, should I say, sorry, when we beat them earlier on in the season. But I feel like we are finding it difficult, especially when you come up against these kind of low block teams, is that level of patience, because we did it against Forest last time. When, as ENNY said there about Trent forcing, you just start to force it, and that bugs me more, because I'm like, why don't you guys just kind of just chill for a second? You don't need to force it, because the reality, and it's annoying though. And the thing is, I get it, in terms of, and I know you guys get it. The reality is, he's not been here that long, long enough for him to. If this was next season, as an example, he ain't trying to still see all of that stuff happening. He ain't trying to see the team playing having that Klopp syndrome, and as you say, Harris, he ain't trying to see that for next season, because then it's not really working what you've been trying to do for a whole year, for example, and now we're into a new season and players are still obviously doing that. So I get that they still do these things, but sometimes I'm just like, guys, I promise you, if you just move the ball around quickly, off the ball movement, as I said before, if that's just a little bit better, you can get at these guys, and you can move this low block, because you passing it from side to side at times and doing it all slowly, that is exactly what these guys want. Because remember, they're not here to try and attack. They're just thinking, as long as we can stop these guys. Milenkovic, all he was doing in the game was just hoofing the ball. That's all he was. Like, he was that centre back that I would hate when I was a kid, because I'm like, oh, this brother's not doing anything apart from kicking the ball away. That is all he's doing.
So bad. But the
job.
thing is, brother, you know, like, I haven't watched Nottingham Forest like that this season. That centre back is so bad. Like, he doesn't even try like find anyone after he wins it. He doesn't try even like clip it in an area. Man just hoofs it. Man just hoofs it away. And it's like, bruv, like, this is a team that it's crazy. And like, one thing I'd say to your point though, yeah, is I know we want to move it with speed, right? But if the manager doesn't want to move it with speed, you know, like City, when at the back, they never move. You watch them. They don't move it with speed like that. They move it slow. And then what happens is they pump, all of a sudden someone punches it into Foden, and then it's just 1, 2, 3, and it's fast in those areas, right?
It's that's what I mean.
It's similar to Brighton. I think that's how Brighton build up as well. They slow it down. They want to draw you in, and then it's that one killer pass where someone on the half turn starts driving forward, and then all of a sudden you're through a goal.
Facts. And as you said, Harris, Diaz was getting into really, really good positions. And the one time, like, obviously you got caught, like, that was obviously a break, and that was like a poor, like, you got to release it earlier, innit? That's poor from him. But there was a time where he got it, drove into an area, right? And then he sprayed Szoboszlai in. You know, we wanted Szoboszlai to smash it across the box, but he decided to pass it. That right there was an example of, yes, it is working. The problem is, the team haven't got the patience, because they, man, don't trust. Yeah, they don't trust the fact that, like, Salah doesn't trust her. Hey, just give it to me, set it back. And what you're seeing is that in midfield, like, bruv, someone will be asking for the ball, right? Gravenberch will be asking for a ball, and Virgil van Dijk won't pop it into him to get it back. They won't do that. It's like he's waiting for Gravenberch to be in the best time so you can turn and just go forward. And it's the whole team as a whole. Is that they want it. They're so, again, it's reverting to type in it. It's like, you know, like Dillian White, the boxers, any boxing fans. Bruv, he can go and start a game and he could get a new trainer and he could start be like, yeah, I'm going to try and box on the outside and box like Muhammad Ali. Bruv, as soon as he gets punched in his face, he's going for a scrap, innit? He's going to what he knows. And that's what happens with Liverpool. We play a certain way, we play a certain way. If we don't score that first goal and it doesn't give us confidence to move on into and grow into the game, and when we score the first goal, like you see against West Ham, it kills we start to kill teams, right? They score the first goal, we revert to type, and it takes half time for Slot to bring us back down to reality, but also adapt it to, like, you know what, I know you guys are playing like this, keep it up like this, but I want this instead. And then it's like we go into games. And I think that's the most annoying thing, is that we need in the midfield, even like McAllister, like, you don't need to, don't just keep it forward. Why can't you just get the ball and hold on to it for a bit? And that's why when I speak about, like, and obviously Szoboszlai was good in the game, so I'd even start Szoboszlai for the next game. But when you talk about having like a Curtis Jones, you need someone in the midfield that can do that can get on the ball and be like, I'm going to hold on to it for a bit and we're going to keep it patient, because we haven't got enough of that. And I think that's why even the Curtis Jones is playing, because if we had like a Zubimendi, Jones might not even get minutes, if we're being honest. He might not even get minutes and we won't even see him and there won't be a need for him. But when you're looking at it,
it looks like it's kind of cut out there.
Apologies. Apologies. I've got a call through, innit? I've got a call through. But it's like, this is the best player we've got. And like, this is what he's offering. It's not great, brother. It's just not great.
Nah, it's honestly, man, we could we'll dive into a bit more in a sec. Honesty's obviously got a question here. Question, man, why didn't he? I'll give this to Harris. Why didn't he sub out Cody or Salah? Because for honesty, you're saying they were mid. Give Chiesa 20 minutes to see Wagwan. I don't even know Wagwan with Chiesa, but sorry, go on, Harris. You can answer that.
I mean, I think Slot just has a lot of trust in our forwards in that they will turn up. So, like, he's probably thinking, I don't want to take off Cody or Salah, because then I can just pop up with a goal, like, in the last minute. I don't think he's going to look at Chiesa and say, oh yeah, you come and try and make an impact when this guy hasn't even played a full 90 yet. I understand, like, he can have like 10 minutes here and there, but we might put him on and this guy might look fish out of water. Like, he played against Accrington Stanley the other day and he scored a good goal. But come on, it's Accrington Stanley. We're facing Nottingham, who's third, now second, in the table. and I think Slot made the right decision in not to put on Chiesa. I would have rather seen um, Elliot than Chiesa, because I think Elliot is that kind of guy that can pop up with a goal. We've seen it before. Against Palace last season, Selhurst, the last minute goal. Um, I don't think Chiesa's ready. Yeah, based on what I've seen in the games. Yeah, he
which
just
is
doesn't look up to speed with the game.
so
So
crazy. Like, imagine like we're now coming into January, and imagine you're saying, and I agree with you as well. Like, you're fully saying, like, yeah, he's not really ready. We're in January, you know,
yeah,
and we're in the mid. We're coming up to, well, we're basically at the halfway point of January, and we're saying that a summer signing is still not really ready, kind of thing. And it's not like he. Obviously, I get the whole fitness side, but listen, I'm not going to get drawn into that. It's not even like he's been like he had an ACL, for example, and he when we signed him, he was still coming back from that, or it wasn't really that. Like, he was calm before he came here in terms of
the
hadn't
excuse
picked up
was
like a mad injury.
the excuse was that he hasn't had a preseason. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
need to have like a mad like. Who can I use as an example? Gravenberch was an example.
Mm.
He didn't. I don't think he had a preseason either, but he looked
Yeah, no, I don't
calm.
think he did.
And you're playing
Yeah, yeah.
Europa League games when you were starting. Yeah. Who else is an example? Endo, I think,
And yeah.
was.
No,
McAllister
but
was
do you
with
was,
us.
but do you was, but do you was,
Soboslai was with
but
us as
no, but
well.
do you was mad though. Do you was mad though with the Chiesa situation though? I don't even think when man say, "Oh, he's not fit or he's not ready." I don't think it's because of the preseason. I don't think he can cope with the explosive nature of how the game's played in the intensity that Liverpool need to play with. He needs to play in a slower game. When he's running, he looks like a pensioner. Let's be honest, but he's
Yeah.
running like his ACL has gone, brother. Like, brother, even
Yeah.
now,
He's lost
brother,
his pace.
but even myself, like, do you know what I mean? I couldn't go and play. I couldn't go and play at like intense level like that. Like, I can't. As in, if I'd done that with my knee, bruv, I look mad. Bruv, and all of a sudden, I'll step it up, and unless I'm doing like just a consistent pace, like when I've done my marathon, all of a sudden I change direction. I'm feeling it in my knees, and you can see it with him. He can't. He
Mm.
can't. But we saw him against Southampton when the game was a bit end to end, and he was getting bullied, bruv. He came in at the end of Accrington Standing when Liverpool were already winning.
Yeah.
Liverpool were already dominating, and them man were going to tire. Like, it's difficult, man. I just don't see it. He's not sharp enough. And if you can't get sharp by training every single day, then you just got to look at like the other factors. And I think it's his knee. I think it's everything. The way he's someone that naturally relied on his. He wasn't like the technically gifted player. He relied on his speed, athleticism.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
that goes, this is what you're getting. You're getting a player that can still cut in and find the corner and stuff. And in training can look like he finds the corner. But doing that in that game at 100 miles an hour, when man are sprinting and that's completely different. And I just don't think he can hack it. That's why he doesn't come on.
That's the thing is, I fully agree. Like, I'm just so baffled with him, in a general sense, if I'm being honest. Like, and it might not even be his fault per se, in terms of, well, if he can't hack it, not everybody can hack it. In terms of this intensity, in the Premier League, and especially for Liverpool. Hence why he would look good against an Accrington Stanley, League Two level, where they don't have the level of intensity that he's playing against every single week in the Premier League and Champions League and stuff like that. So honestly, man, he's a weird one. We'll see come the end of January. I'm very intrigued to see how many games he actually does play between now and the end
But you
of
know
January,
what?
if he's still here anyway.
I think we dig ourselves our own grave. Like, why would you go in for someone when you've known? I'm pretty sure,
Opportunity,
like, I
opportunity,
think
bro.
it's
Opportunity.
opportunity, but like, you're looking at him, you look at his injury record, you look at, um, I mean, they should know if he's had a preseason or not, if he's not up to speed. Yes, he did play in the Euros, but I think we dig ourselves a big grave at times, and then
Hey,
you see
people
when
told
we
me this
get
was
to
a
a point
bargain, bro. They said this was a bargain at 12 mil. Yo, if he comes in and does whatever right now,
on paper, if you look at him as a overall player, like overall career, yes, it is. But
yeah, but that
now,
was my
as
that
we're
was
speaking
always
now,
that was
yeah,
always my issue, is that I didn't look at him as the overall player. I'll be honest with you, because I kept thinking to myself, it's not about the overall. There's a reason
yeah,
why Juventus are willing to let this guy go. There
Yeah,
is a
for such a low
reason
fee.
why. Do you know, like we're not.
Because
This
if it
ain't.
was,
Sorry, go on, go on, go on. Go on.
because if we was to get him when he won the Euros, Juventus are charging 80, 100 million. Yeah, and plus
Hmm.
they probably wouldn't want to let him go. Yeah, so you can just see the drop in quality from him, and then Liverpool's just going to sign him, and then we've dug ourselves our own grave with paying the consequences with him not being available. Yeah, so I'm not really surprised, but I think we're calm in the attack. But it wouldn't surprise me if he goes in the summer. It wouldn't like honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, nah, I don't think it surprised anybody, to be honest. It would just be in. I just want to see how many games between. Obviously, didn't come on yesterday, so now we obviously got Brentford. Is our next game away? Yeah, away. So I would love to
Saturday, yeah.
see between now and the end of January, just to see, because at some point you're gonna have to play this guy, and at some point he has to be ready. Like, we can't keep going, because I'm not even trying to hear we're now getting into February, but he's still not even played a
Up to
game, or
speed.
up to speed. Like, what, in February? Like, come on, G. Like, I get it. People like to use, or liked at the time to use the whole, yeah, but Fabinho, he needed. It wasn't this long. I can promise you that. And
You know who he
Fabinho was
reminds me
still
of?
coming on in games like in random times. Sorry, go on.
You know who he reminds me of? So obviously we've all been to school in it,
Yeah,
and did you play in a school team?
yeah.
Did you ever come across a guy that is in the school team, but he's always injured and he's always saying, "Oh no, I can't play today. Oh man's ill. Oh, I've got a cold."
There was usually, like, well, not in my year. It was maybe like the year younger, or the year younger than that. They had
Mm.
a couple of those type of
Like they're
guys.
in the squad that they've got a squad
Yeah,
number.
yeah,
They've
yeah, yeah.
maybe played a couple games, but it's got to a point where like I'm thinking, bro, you're just lying at this point. That's who you remind me of.
But it's so
But
mad
the
because they're
thing is, I
usually
don't
actually
think.
good players. Like,
But the thing is, I don't think he's lying. The problem is, you see, like a Sturridge. You can use that with maybe like a Sturridge, where man, we're like, bro, are you like, you just need a weird beats, but you don't really want to push through pain and all. Obviously that was the narrative
yeah,
that people said about him. With Chiesa, I think he probably wants to play. The fact that he came out and his agent said, with all those rumors saying, "No, I want to stay at Liverpool," I think he does. I think he wants to stay at Liverpool. I think he wants to succeed. But he's looking at it and thinking to himself, like, yeah, I'm trying to play, but there's nothing. But I can't. I'm struggling. I can't. Like, I'm
Can't
trying to
get in
get
over
around the man.
Diaz or
Yeah, no, but I'm trying to get around the man in the game, and I'm struggling. I'm coming up against like Rio, and Rio's cooking. Like, bro, you see, like Chiesa, right? We think Chiesa will be like, when Diaz plays on the left wing, even like base and bare minimum, he's
yeah.
getting at you, he's harassing you. He's just, but Chiesa does none of that. Chiesa gets it, and he looks awkward when he gets it. He then like gets into good positions, and then like remember the other day, like I think he wanted to square it to Jota, and he tried to go on the outside of the man against Accrington Stanley. You couldn't get
Yeah.
around him, and bruv, I'm just why. And honestly, he looked, yeah, and we'll touch on obviously number 11 as well, because yesterday's performance reminded me of that as well. But we're like, bruv, it's like I said to G, I was like, bruv, he's playing like me in futsal the other day. There was no sleep, bruv. Shit, bruv, I'm trying to touch around the man, and all of a sudden I'm like, bruv, I'm not going nowhere. Like, he's just there
Yeah.
with me, and that's what it seems like with Chiesa. It's like he can't. The stuff that he wants to do, like his mind's got it, but his body's not allowing him to do it. Man, talk about the football thing. Like, he's there, he's trying to do the right thing. He's getting the ball, he's trying to drop the shoulder. He's dropping the shoulder, but no one's moving because he's doing it so slow.
Man,
And
just
it's like,
treading the water right now, boy.
yeah,
Fuck it,
no, but next time you see him, bro, I remember the goal against the Euros, bro. He was on it. Everything was 100 miles an hour. If you're a player like that, you can't slow down now all of a sudden try go. Do you know what I mean? You're not that type of player. You're not that type of player to slow down all of a sudden. You burst past a man, and bro, he was never that type of player. Everything had to be 100 miles an hour. So now he hasn't got that. You're really limiting his abilities. That's the way I look at it.
Nah, it's true. Honestly, asking here, another question: was it smart for Ibu to say? He obviously did that. You saw the quotes, to say he rushes recovery after Joey G got injured because he hasn't looked good, in my opinion. I think Ibu probably just being honest. He seemed like one of them type of them good guys, like them good youths. So he's probably just being honest in a question that they probably asked him about, how he's feeling since he's come back and stuff like that. Obviously, it doesn't look optics wise, it doesn't look good, of course, because Joey G's obviously injured, and as you rightfully said, honestly, like he ain't really looked good, since he's come back. You can see the strap on his knee and all of that kind of stuff. So it does look a little bit fugazi. But big up Black Nuke says 6 months to get fit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're still hearing that. Big up John inside the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. But I wanted to, obviously, we'll touch on him now before we kind of head on out of here. Let's get him up. All right. Now, just be easy, guys. You know what I mean? Everyone in the comments, Jerry, Harris, just, you know what I mean? Just be easy. But obviously, Salah, it's now to last 2 games, actually, from what I can see here, in which he's not got a goal. He's not got an assist in the game, right? And yesterday's game, Jerry, you mentioned something in the chat about like him and Gakpo, to be fair, but obviously we're talking about Salah in terms of taking on their man and just no one's really beating a man at all. And even at points, I felt like, Nico Williams was kind of, you know what I mean? Like he's kind of got Salah's number at one point. I saw when Salah tried to cut in, Nico said, "Nah, you're not having that." And it was just, I think he ended up clearing it or taking the ball off him and then clearing it. Obviously, we know Mo is the most important factor that we have in our attack. But in regards to yesterday's game, John, we'll get there. Did you think that it was all his own doing, or did you feel like the team in general, like just the way that we were attacking, it just wasn't really working? Or was it like a Salah thing in terms of his own performance? Anyone of you?
I think it's
for me. Go on, Harris.
No, go on.
Cool. Yeah, for me, I think that's a straight Salah thing, man. Let's just keep it honest. Let's just keep it a buck, man. That's a straight Salah thing. The amount of times, man, fed him, Soboslai kept trying to feed him. Trent in the second half done like, man, that he might go underrated. Probably one of the best passes he can do. So Salah standing in between like DM. He's come inside. He's standing between the DM and the centre back, right? Or like the full. I think it was DM and centre back. Trent's overlapped and he zipped the ball into him. Man got it. And then I don't know what he tried to do, but he just lost the ball, bro. He just like tried to shoot and he just lost the ball. He was getting the ball. He was shooting when he should pass. He was doing some Trivella pass when no one was there. And again, this is the problem you've got with someone like a Salah, is that very much like Ronaldo, innit? You can score the goals. But the reason why we talk about Messi and Ronaldo is because Messi's going to affect the game, even if he doesn't score a goal or assist. You need to score or assist to affect the game, because anything else is not affecting you. He's not going to he's not going to run you ragged. He's not going to run the defense ragged with his running anymore because he's getting older. He's not going to go and draw 5 man to him and then play a quick pass and just say, you know what, I'm going to stay out of this game because I'm not having my good game. He's trying to do everything to impact the game. Now, of course, as you said, he's our most important factor in terms of getting goals. But if he's not, this is what you end up with. And you end up with a Salah that, if this was to continue, you've got a question like, bruv, like, and we've done some multiple seasons. We've done this last season when similar type of performances where he's not scoring, then you start looking at it thinking, bruv, do we even need a Salah? Well, what's he offering? Of course, when he starts scoring goals and assisting, then it's like there's no debate in it. Like, if you're scoring goals and it doesn't matter what kind of gripe I've got about your play, it just becomes a situation where, you know what, it is what it is, isn't it? At that point, it is what it is. I can criticize, but ultimately you are delivering the goods. He's currently delivering the goods, and when you're looking at that, it's like, this is where it would have been good to have someone that we can bring on the pitch to make a difference, because we could have had someone else that would come on and, just like flipping Elanga-esque, doesn't need to score a goal, doesn't need to assist. I'm just going to run you ragged. Hudson-Odoi didn't score a goal, didn't assist, but ran man ragged. He was just running behind, trying to take on his man. Salah can't take on his man anymore. So you can't even do that. Everything's coming inside. And when he comes inside and makes it more narrow, the false man thing starts to look a bit difficult because we've got no overlapping runners at back in the day.
No, listen, man. I think with Salah especially, I was just looking at the games that we played recently. So you obviously got this Forest game, the Spurs game, even the Manchester United game, which he did actually score in. I don't think in the last 3 games, I've not thought he's been good. But I'll be honest with you, I've not really thought he's been that great this season anyway. I just think that where he's doing these every game is like a record-breaking thing. Like, he scored and assisted, or he scored in this game. And I think with this game against Forest, his 12-game streak is now ended in terms of scoring or assisting in the Premier League. The way I'm looking at him in these last 3 games, I'll be honest, he's been like that for quite some time, though. Like, for the majority of the season, the difference is, as Jerry said, you ain't scoring, you ain't assisting. But I feel like the performances have kind of been relatively similar. When I'm just looking at like the numbers he will get in games, whether it be for passes, accurate passes, dribbles, take on, all of that kind of stuff. They're quite similar in most of the games that he's actually playing. The difference is that in some of these games, he's got 2 goals, he's got 2 assists, or he's got a goal, he's got an assist. So when I'm looking at Salah, when he had that kind of game, big up Pops in the building, when he had that kind of game yesterday, I wasn't even shocked. I was probably more shocked that he just didn't score. And I was thinking, oh, okay, this is one of those games where you're probably scoring because of the chances that you're getting and the opportunities that you're getting. And as Jerry was saying, we're feeding it, supposed to like feeding it to you, and everyone's trying to give you the ball, give you the opportunity. Trent with that lovely pass into him, and he just didn't really. It seemed like a guy who was almost lacking confidence. I was like, well, you should be complete opposite. Like, you should be on the moon right now in terms of Premier League players, kind of thing. I expected you to, get on the end of that and finish that straight away. Like, I was genuinely thinking he was going to score that, but then he didn't, and it just ran into obviously into the goalkeeper, which kind of pissed me off. And then you're taking pot shots, which pissed me off, and you're trying to do everything. And I get it, because you might probably feel the onus is on you to do everything, which I can kind of understand. But sometimes I feel like you need to have a tad bit more trust in the rest of your team and in the rest of the players, because I guarantee if you just move the ball maybe a bit more than, what you was actually doing yesterday, you'll probably get more opportunities, because they might give and go. They might give it back to you. You never know. But I just feel like you're trying to force the issue, which was Liverpool's problem, I felt a bit yesterday, is you are trying, some players anyway, they're trying to force that issue. And I'm just like, I don't really need you to do that, bro. You can keep it like a bit more simple. But what about you, Harris, man? How did you fucks with, Salah's performance, or was it a little bit like, meh?
Thing is, I expect this performance from him every game. And I said it before. I said this is a typical Salah performance. It's just that his GA will always mask over his overall performance. And I don't have an issue with that, because he consistently puts up numbers. But then when you see the likes of Carragher, say Cole Palmer's performed, not been the best player, but performed consistently over the last 18 months, I think he said something like that. Yeah, people want to take offense and say, oh, it's a disrespect to Mo Salah because he puts up these consistent numbers. I'm sorry, but GA is just not numbers. I mean, GA is just not performance. Yeah. And I think fan base, they always take that to heart. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. Like, every time I look on the team sheet, I look at all the positions, and I look at the one-on-one battles that we can see, I always write off Salah, unless if it's against Zinchenko or something. Yeah. Like, I'm just not surprised anymore. And it's not like it's 2018, 2019 Salah where he would run his fullback down, cook him. This is just going to be the Salah that we're going to see for the rest of his career at Liverpool. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. And like I said, it's a typical Salah performance. We can expect this for the rest of the season. Yeah, when he doesn't score. Yeah,
let's hope we get some goals or something. Because I mean, if this starts happening,
not the GA, because I know he will score eventually.
No, of course,
but like I said, I'm not surprised.
No, I agree, and big up John and Pops, because you both just said something that I totally agree with. John, in what he said here, players need to take over the mantle when Salah. That for me is a very key thing, because I always feel like, again, for guys who have got so many, like they've got goals this season in Gakpo, in Diaz. Obviously, Jota came off the bench and obviously did that when he came off the bench. But I just feel like at times, if I get it, if that's the tactic from the manager, obviously I don't know, so it's a bit difficult for me to say. But if that is the kind of tactic from the manager, that when we are in these forward areas, please do try to look for Mo a bit more. Mo, make sure you're always making this run. Make sure you're peeling out wide, whatever it might be. If that is the tactic, then fair enough. But if that isn't, and these players are subconsciously doing that, i.e., Szoboszlai Harvey Elliott when he used to come on all the time, passing it straight to Mo, and it's like Gakpo might try cut in, but then he's trying to find Mo at the far stick. I'm like, can you not just do yourself? Like, can you not do things yourself instead of always trying to look for this one person? Like, surely you believe in your own ability enough. I get it because you got this one guy who's obviously doing mad stuff and rare tear. I get all of that. But at times, I beg you guys just do what you're doing and then let him figure it out, once he gets his shooting boots kind of, back on. Another thing here that Pop said, we all know Mo obviously isn't beating his man, so why put him wide where he sees 2 and 3? Exactly. That was another thing. I was like, he's not beating his man. This thing about, even that, sometimes I'm like, bro, he's not going to. Like, he hasn't done that for years now, like a couple years. So let's just eradicate that from his game. Let's forget that he ever was able to do that because he can't do that now. So if he can't do that, he needs to obviously find other ways, whether it be the 1-2 with Trent, 1-2 with Zobo, 1-2 with anybody, or he cuts inside, or he gets to run onto the ball. Whatever it may be, those are the type of actions that we need to find him in, as opposed to expecting him to beat his man all the time. Kind of like, I would expect Diaz to, because Diaz is good at it. Heck, I would even expect Gakpo to be able to do it more than Mo does. I don't expect Gakpo to maybe
I think
do it all the
Gakpo
time, but
can.
more than Fink.
I've seen him do it, but he just chooses for some reason to always cut inside. Yeah, with our fan base and then our side should be moved to a different position, which I've heard a lot of times. If you was the manager and you had to move him, where would you move him?
Who, Salah?
Yeah.
He can only really play in like a 10 position, just like
as
a sole second striker. Like,
you see with him in a 10, I don't think he's going to keep the ball that well. I'll be very honest.
Possibly.
I think he could do a job.
Yeah.
But when you're, I don't know.
I think with him, he like that's why I say, like, even when before Slot obviously like took charge and all of that, and everyone was talking about, like, where's Mo gonna play and this, that, and the third. For me, I just feel like even just watching him now, I'm like, you know what? That right wing is just a position that is the only real position I feel you can play. I don't think you're going to be as effective anywhere else on the pitch because of the way that we play anyway. You being in, like you said, in the number 10, if you're not even confident that you feel like he's going to hold up the ball, then you don't want him in that position. If he goes up front, then you kind of maybe lose the angles that he always gets in terms of when he picks up the ball and stuff like that. How good would he be if he had to play through the middle as opposed to out wide on the right? Obviously, we don't know until he actually does it, but
even the switch that Virgil likes to play, and then when he holds off his opponent, you're going to miss that, because I don't think maybe Jota can do that. Just hold off his man like that. Yeah, but Salah's very strong, and the way how he does it is actually leans into someone, and then he rolls them. He did it to Dallo, and Dallo got booked. I'm thinking he's just made Dallo look absolutely weak. And he can't get around him.
Yeah. No, it's true, man, and that's always been my thing. When it depends on what you're looking for, but in terms of big up ends, by the way, man, big up ends. I'm gonna head out in a sec, anyways, bro. Just before I forget, actually, Ends has got a stream later on today, so make sure you guys obviously, I've redirected it there anyway, regardless. So make sure you guys smash the like. But just on Salah finally, like, I just think it obviously was shit in my personal opinion. Like Pops is even saying here, I've just read, he doesn't need to change positions. He just needs to make better decisions. Players need to get closer for those 1-2s, and we just live with his strike rate. 100%. It's just he is who he is. But yes, in the last couple of games, I've not felt. But in the last month, I know everyone spoke about, Salah winning. He should have won the Premier League Player of the Month. I was like, nah, I didn't really feel like he should have. I don't feel like he performed that well. He got the goals, he got the assists, which I can obviously give him. But in terms of the actual performances,
when Isak got it.
Say that again.
Is that when Isak got it?
Yeah, when Isak got it. When Isak got it. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, like watching Newcastle I watched 3 games that they played this month, and I thought, okay, like he was performing pretty well, within those 3 games. But in regards to like Salah himself, I just think that yesterday obviously he was shit. But I didn't feel like any of the forward line was that good, to be honest with you. Like, I just didn't feel anything was gonna happen with them being there. And it was so hilarious because only when Jota came on, that's when I actually felt like Liverpool seemed more of a threat in those attacking areas when he was on the pitch because of the nature of him, like what he was doing. It felt like that was just more than enough for against a team who are like solid defensively. I was like, yeah, Salah not getting no joy. Diaz wasn't getting no joy. Gakpo, none of them were getting any joy. So when I'm looking at it and I'm like, I see someone like Diogo Jota came on. Forget that he even scored. It was just what he was doing outside of that. He was just causing these lot like panic, bro, in that box.
When he sent Murillo.
Yep, bro, like it was getting mad. And I was like, this is what you kind of needed. You almost need, I always feel like when you play against someone with a low block, you almost need someone, whether it be him, a midfielder, even a defender, to do something outside of the box almost. Like they've got to do something outside of the structure that you're in order to break down that low block. Because if a team's already trained for all of this, i.e., they know that, okay, these guys are going to want to pass the ball to the left. They're going to want to pass the ball to the right. They're going to try and hit Salah. They're going to try and hit Dom maybe. He's going to maybe try and find a pocket of space. Gravenberch is going to... If they know that you're going to do all of that, I feel like that's kind of easy to defend anyway. But I felt like when Jota came on, Jota's trying to take on 6 man, and once obviously that's drawing in like 2 or 3 players, then that leaves space for other guys. And if we pop it, to these players quicker, we can do more. I just felt like it was just, it was a bit more. We had a bit more intent. That's the word I'm looking for. We had a bit more intent when Diogo Jota came on. Whether that was just him and just what he was doing in the game state, I don't know. But yeah, man, I felt like, Jota coming on was, to be honest, he seemed like he was going to be the only one to score us the goal, because I really didn't feel like anybody else was going to be able to do that. Last few comments and then we'll head on out of here. Mr. Tibbs saying we need signings. We cannot allow a horrible Manchester City to win this league. Arsenal still ain't it. I will be surprised if Manchester City win the league, I'll be honest. And saying players need to take ownership. Why use him high wide when he can't dribble his man? Midfielders need to do more. Yeah, I hear that. At the end of the game, the chances still fell to who? Mo cleared off the line. Yeah, he did have that chance. Where the others, Mo being shit is fine sometimes, but it can't be contagious. Yeah, 100%. Moral of the story from John is play specialists in their positions. God, we played without a striker first half. But the whole thing with Diaz, Gakpo, and Salah, people tell him that works, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's one of those. One more, the goalkeeper was really good. He was fantastic. He was really, really good. Made some dope saves, man. If Mo is supposed to be stretching the pitch, then the midfielders should be filling the lines. Agreed. Did Mo make Lucio mess up the break with... that just pissed me off, man. When I saw Gakpo, when I saw Diaz running through, and I kept saying, pass it. And then, once he did pass it, I was like, it's like you hit the red zone of the pass when you're playing FIFA. You know, when if you hold the button long enough, obviously it might go past it now. And I was like, yeah, you just hit the red zone. Whereas you was in that green space for time, bro. Like you could have just passed it.
Oh, and penalties. And then you hit the red.
Yeah. Literally that. You know when the bar comes up at the bottom.
Yeah.
So obviously in terms of the power that you're going to use,
yeah,
it's like he got to like the sweet spot of green, and then he just held onto the button for too long. I'm like, brother, why don't you just like pass it time ago? Problem is though, midfield have their own responsibilities. That's the gaffer there. Did Mo force Dom to pass it instead of shoot? Yeah, well, he didn't force these guys to do anything. I mean, the reason people give when Salah plays shit. Yeah. I hear it. Uncomfortable comment need to be had about our so-called best players. Depends on who they are. Yeah, depends on who you think.
Who is our best player? My personal opinion, I think, is Virgil.
Yeah. It will probably be like. What do you mean, yesterday or in general?
Just in general, like.
Oh, in general. Oh,
yeah.
Virgil and Salah.
Virgil and Salah. Yeah.
I think Virgil and Salah. I think they're undeniably, in my opinion. Whereas the others, I feel like you could start making a case for other players and that. Of course, shipping with goals, and they tried. Jerry's obviously saying we haven't got a Lampard Palmer. Whose role is that? 100%. Yeah, maybe we. I don't know. I've got a stream anyway. I wanted to do about midfielders. I'll probably try and do it tomorrow, maybe. where we can take a look at some of the midfielders that we've obviously been linked to and stuff like that, and what type of profile do we need? Because do we need to have the Lampard-esque as an example? Obviously, just to Jerry's comment there. Do we need to have the Bruno Guimaraes type? You know, because we've already got, you know, Gravenberch and McAllister and Szoboszlai and Jones, and it's a We'll talk about it more anyway on that stream. We'll talk about it more. Do we need? Who knows? Honestly, I don't know, because I don't know what you call Elliot. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what he is
He's in
in terms
replacement,
of as a
man.
player. Greetings. I agree. Over the course of a long season, Salah is allowed to have bad games. You know what? It's not even about that. It's not. Forget him having bad games. Whatever. It's just the pure thing that where I'm always like, if someone does have a bad game, either way, I still need someone else to step up, regardless. Like there just has to be someone else stepping up. And like I said, Jota came off the bench. And obviously, you know, he done his thing, getting that goal so flipping quickly because that was hilarious. Elliot is past, man, a shame. Yeah, 100%. Any serious club would have moved on Trent and Robbo 2 years ago, but we ain't on that ruthless stuff. We want to do this lovey-dovey stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Trent maybe not so much. Trent maybe not so much. Robbo, you probably have a bit of a point, but again, yeah, I mean, it's one of those, man. Harvey wants to play the 10, so why not sometimes drop Zobo in the pivot and put Elliot in the 10? Like I said, I think there must be a reason for why he's not playing, but I don't know if I'm ready to say that it's because he doesn't trust him. I don't know if it's just that though.
I think it's because Slot may look at Elliot and think, you know, with Sober's aggression, Curtis has also got aggression as well. He's one of our best pressers of the ball. I don't think he looks at Elliot and thinks, yeah, so like when we're defending off the ball, I don't think he thinks Elliot will be great at that. I think on the ball, I think Slot definitely rates him, that he can keep the ball and stuff. But from a defensive standpoint, I don't think Slot trusts him.
Listen, I'm not even going to disagree with you there because I don't know. At this point, I just really don't know. To be honest with you, like I don't know what he sees, but we'll talk about Elliot as well. I'll do a stream on that. Not Trent. His points have been criticized for the last 2 seasons. Yeah, but you probably wouldn't have. Who would you have signed? I don't know. Like I don't disagree with what you're saying, Christian. I really don't. I agree. Yes, because I myself have criticized Trent defensively in the last couple of seasons, but at the same time, who would I have signed in that time frame to really have been? You know what I mean? It's a tricky one. But in the games that we played, Elliot is the only one capable to pick a cute pass in tight spaces. Maybe again, like I said, there's something. There is a reason as to why he's not playing him. I just don't know what it is yet. I'm still trying to figure that out because the reality is, Elliot in a fully fit side, Elliot doesn't make the team. So we're trying to fit Elliot in to this role that really and truly, do we need him to play that role like on a consistent basis? Is Elliot that good that he usurps someone in our starting 11? I don't think so. He's a bench man. And if he's a bench man, really what's happening to him now, that we should kind of expect that. Because if he's not really playing anyway, and if let's just go with the premise of what Harris said about that could be one of the reasons as to why he doesn't play, then I don't need Elliot to play. I really don't. Like Elliot can just sit on the bench and he can just come on in random games and play this game or play that game, because who's he going to take out? What, Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch? He ain't taking none of these guys out. You know what I mean? You're going to have to just sit there on the bench and try and, work your way into the team, to be fair. Or if you can. John said it doesn't have to be every game, but these last few games, there's an absolute argument. I don't know. I still don't really... I don't feel like Elliot would have really have done much. Like anything different that we needed. I don't feel Elliot was the one to provide that, is the way I see that. And I'm not saying Elliot's dead, by the way. It's just more, I don't feel like he would have been able to have helped us in any of these situations. There's always a player we rate and the manager's like, nah, you can go, and it might be Harvey, which for me is a shame. Yeah, I mean, I'll be calm if he left. If we can get a good fee for Harvey, then it's kind of a good deal, no? But, I'm going to wrap up there. I need to head on out of here. Big up to the gaffer. Big up to Harris. Love for joining in. As I said, people, you will be redirected. Just smash a like, ends the stream, which is later on this evening, I believe, at 10 p.m. So, yeah, make sure you guys just smash a like. And, of course, I'll see you guys on over there later on. Just trying to think. Today is Wednesday. Yeah, I will have a stream tomorrow and on Friday. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but yeah, it'll potentially be about the whole midfielder situation, taking a look at what type of midfielder we possibly need. And then yeah, we can look at Harvey Elliott as well, and have a little chat about that. But big up Harris, big up Jerry, love for joining in. Big up the chat, guys. We are so close, by the way. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, we're literally 5 subscribers away. Is it 5? Yeah, we're 5 subscribers away from 2K. As I said, people, I will start membership at 2,000 subscribers. I've already got the videos ready, so make sure if you haven't done so, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later on. Peace.